I want to tell you about something you can do to help yourself ruminate or worry less. But first, let's take a step back and let's talk about why rumination and worry start to feel so uncontrollable over time. Let's just say, for example, that every single time you get in your car, you start to ruminate about something bad that's happened to you recently, or worry about the implications of that bad thing. And you get in your car in the morning, you drive to work for 45 minutes, and for those 45 minutes, you're ruminating or worrying. You get in your car in the afternoon, same thing, you ruminate and worry. You get in your car to go to the grocery store or shopping, and you engage in that rumination and worry every single time you are in your car. Well, let's just say then that I pick you up and plop you into your car. What do you think is going to happen? Well, you're probably going to start ruminating and worrying. Why? Because of something called classical conditioning, where you have paired your rumination and worry with being in the car so often that simply being in the car is enough to generate that worry and rumination. Now, imagine that you worry and ruminate when you're sitting at the dining table, when you're in the shower, when you're in your car, when you're sitting at your desk at work, when you're lying in bed. You could see how this would very quickly spiral out of control, where if classical conditioning is happening in each one of those locations, then simply being in those locations is enough to spontaneously generate that rumination and worry. So one thing that you can do to help yourself break this is something called stimulus control training. There's lots of research on stimulus control training, and here's how it works. The general rule in stimulus control training is that every time throughout the day that you notice yourself engaging in rumination or worry or any kind of repetitive negative thinking, you're going to delay that thinking until your, let's call it, rumination period. So if you are sitting at the dining room table and you start to notice yourself ruminating, you say to yourself, okay, I'm just going to delay this until my rumination period later. What you don't want to do is say to yourself, nope, not allowed to ruminate, stop it, stop it, stop it, because that actually is probably likely to backfire on you, and then you'll just end up ruminating even more. So don't punish the rumination. Just tell yourself that you are delaying it. If you want to write it down so that you don't forget it, or start a note in your notes app with all the topics of rumination or worry for later, that's fine. But what you're going to do is just gently delay it until later. If you notice yourself doing it at work, same thing. You're going to just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this later. And right now I'm going to refocus on the task at hand. Then what you're going to do is you're going to pick a consistent time and location where you will have a 30-minute rumination period. My suggestion is to not make it too close to bedtime and to not do it in your bedroom, because we want to have that bedroom and bedtime not become associated with lots of rumination and worry. So let's say you decide that your rumination period is going to be from 5:30 to 6 p.m. in this one comfortable chair that you have in your living room. Once 5:30 hits, you're going to sit in that chair. You're going to get rid of all distractions. So turn off the ringer on your phone, turn off the TV, make sure that you don't have to get out of that chair to attend to anything, and just spend those 30 minutes ruminating or worrying as intensely as you can, and fill that full 30 minutes. You can bring your notes from over the course of the day where you have your list of things to ruminate or worry about, and just focus all of your attention on that worry. This is the time for you to just be free to ruminate and worry as much as you want. Now, one thing that might happen is that you might reach some kind of an insight or solution to the rumination or the worry, in which case you're free to jot that down. That's great. But just go ahead and fill the 30 minutes. Okay, how do we know that this works? There's research from the University of Illinois at Chicago, by yours truly, that found that stimulus control training for worry is actually pretty effective. So here's what we did. We recruited a sample of very, very high worriers. These were people who spent most of the day worrying, more days than not, and they found it very difficult to control their worry. And we randomly assigned them to one of two groups. The first group did stimulus control training for worry, which is exactly what I just described to you. And the other group was sort of a placebo condition where we told people, you know what, trying to shut off your worry really will backfire. When you notice yourself worrying, just allow yourself to worry in that moment as much as you want. Don't try to delay it. Don't try to stop it. Just go at it. We sent them on their way, asked them to do that for 2 weeks. And when they came back, we ran a bunch of assessments on them. And what we found was that compared to the worry anytime, anywhere, any place condition, the participants in the stimulus control condition actually had lower levels of overall daily worry, less severe worry, and this was a nice added surprise, their sleep improved. So they had reductions in sleep disturbance. Now, we did not do this for depressed people, so we didn't ask them to do stimulus control training for their rumination. That's a study that we might do at some point in the near future. This was specific to worry, but I suspect that it would work for depressive rumination as well. I hope that's helpful. Give it a try. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if it's effective at all for you. This is a really simple and straightforward intervention that you can do with yourself that should give you some really nice benefits. Hope that's helpful. Bye-bye.